If I told you that the thing making you tired, stressed, and lost is not life itself but the way you're thinking about life, would you be willing to keep listening? We live in an age where everyone is busy, but very few people truly understand what they're living for. We have more information than ever, yet we're more confused than ever. And the strange thing is, the deepest answers to the modern crisis come from a man who lived more than 2,000 years ago. He wasn't a public speaker. He wasn't a motivational figure. He was an emperor, a man who had to make decisions every day amid power, war, betrayal, and death. And what he wrote wasn't penned to teach others but to keep himself from falling apart. The quotes of Marcus Aurelius are not meant to sound nice. They don't make you more positive. They do something much harder. They force you to look straight at the way you're living. And if you're here, maybe it's because you also feel that you need a stronger inner anchor. In this video, we won't just read quotes. We will analyze each line, group them into core ideas, and most importantly, turn them into practical exercise for everyday life. No empty theory. No philosophy just to admire, but philosophy to live with. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're confused. Maybe you're trying very hard, but still feel like you're standing still. If so, what comes next is meant to change you overnight. It only helps you stand a little more firmly. Stoic philosophy thus promises happiness. It promises just one thing: if you understand it and practice it, you won't break easily. And sometimes, not breaking is already a very big victory. We begin with the first group of ideas from Marcus Aurelius. If there is one thing that determines almost the entire quality of your life, it's not money, not circumstances, but how your mind operates every single day. Marcus Aurelius begins his philosophy at exactly this point: not outside, but inside. You have power over your mind, not outside events. Realize this, and you will find strength. This line sounds calm, but understood correctly, it cuts off the human habit of blaming at the root. Marcus Aurelius is not saying you can control the world. He states something harder to accept: you only have power over your own mind. And most of our exhaustion comes from trying to control things that were never under our control to begin with. The happiness of your life depends upon the quality of your thoughts. Many people think happiness comes from when things get better, when others change, when they achieve something more. But Marcus Aurelius looks straight at the truth: if your thoughts are constantly anxious, comparing, doubting, then no matter where you are, you won't be at peace. Happiness is not in circumstances. It's in the quality of the thoughts you allow to stay in your mind. Our life is what our thoughts make it. The soul becomes eyed with the color of its thoughts. Marcus Aurelius didn't say this for effect. He was reminding himself every day. What do you think repeatedly, not in dramatic moments, but in ordinary ons on the way to work, before sleep, when small things happen, slowly dies your soul with host. Life doesn't change in a day, but it changes through habits of thinking. If you are distressed by anything external, the pain is not due to the thing itself, but to your estimate of it. This quote makes many people uncomfortable because it doesn't let us escape. Marcus Aurelius is very clear: the event itself does not carry pain. It's your evaluation, your interpretation, the meaning you attach that creates suffering. Two people face the same situation: one collapses, one remains calm. The difference is not the event, it's the mind. This first group of ideas doesn't teach you how to change the world. It teaches you something much harder: to observe and master how you respond to the world. And this is where Stoic philosophy begins to show its real power. Practical exercise, drop I separating events from interpreta, vi mentis aga. This is not an exercise to understand but to experience for yourself. Step on when you feel annoyed, sad, hurt, or stressed. Pause. Step 2. Write down 2 lines. Line 1. The objective event, facts only, no emotion. Line 2. The story I'm telling myself about that event. Step 2. Ask directly: if I change this interpretation, does the pain remain the same? Many people realize the pain in what happened, but in how they're talking about it in their own mind. You can control life, but you can always control how you face it. And from there everything begins to change. Once you understand how to master the mind, Marcus Aurelius raises the next question: if we don't live rightly, what is the point of mastering the mind at all? 2. After Marcus Aurelius makes it clear that you only control your own mind, he immediately asks a harder question: if your mind is in your hands, how will you use it to live? And here, Stoic philosophy moves to a deeper level. Morality is not in words, but in daily actions. Waste no more time arguing about what a good man should be. Be one. This line is blunt and uncomfortable. Marcus Aurelius doesn't care how much you know about morality. He cares about one thing: when faced with a choice, what do you do? Many people speak beautifully about values, analyze ethics very well, but when it costs something to live rightly, they step back. Stoicism doesn't need good speakers. It needs people who dare to live rightly, in silence. If it is not right, so not so it. If it is not true, so not say it. There is no lofty philosophy here. Only inner discipline. Marcus Aurelius set two very clear boundaries for himself: if it's not right, don't say it. If it's not true, don't say it. Not because he was perfect, but because he understood every time you cross these lines, you erode yourself. So every act of your life is if it were your last. This line is often misunderstood. Marcus Aurelius is not telling you to live in a rush. He's telling you to live consciously. Walk so it properly. Speak with decency. Help helpfully. Not because someone is watching, but because you are watching yourself. Stoic philosophy doesn't ask, you look like a good person. It asks, when no one sees, what kind of person are you? And that answer is the foundation of self-respect. Paroxycal excesses, group a daily moral inventory, self-timentes each negatus exaficos exercise, because it doesn't let you lead to yourself. Each evening answer honestly: 1. What did I say today that wasn't completely true, just to make things easier for myself? 2. What did I say that I knew wasn't right, but did anyway because it was convenient? 3. Tomorrow, is there one small action I can do more rightly? No need for big chance. Just one small thing, but done correctly. You don't need to be a moral person in other people's eyes. You only need to live in a way that doesn't make you ashamed when you're alone. And that is a very high standard, but a very real one. Once you've mastered the mind and know how you want to live rightly, Marcus Aurelius reminds us of something equally important: all of this only matters if you are truly living in the present. 2. If you pause for a moment and ask yourself, you'll notice something very strange. Our bodies are in the present, but our minds really are. Either they're stuck regretting the past, or worrying about what hasn't arrived yet. Marcus Aurelius realized this clearly. This is the source of a great deal of human suffering. Confine yourself to the present. This sentence isn't poetic. It sounds more like an order to himself. Marcus Aurelius isn't telling you to forget the past. He isn't telling you to stop thinking about the future. He's reminding you of one simple, practical truth: only the present is where life can actually be life. Everything else exists only in thought. Very little is needed to make a happy life. It is all within yourself, in your way of thinking. We often think when we have more, when things get better, when life feels more stable, then we'll allow ourselves to be happy. Marcus Aurelius says the opposite. You're not lacking conditions for happiness, you're lacking attention to what you already have. Happiness isn't located in later. It's in how fully you're present right now. Many people live their entire lives, yet never truly live a single full day. They're always waiting when this task is done, when things calm down, when there's less to worry about. But the truth is, the present is constantly sacrificed for an uncertain future. Marcus Aurelius understood this deeply. If you don't learn how to live in the present, you'll never feel like anything is a no. In today's world, we're constantly pulled away from the present. notifications, messages, comparison, pressure to be faster, better. And slowly, we get used to being nowhere at all. Stoic philosophy doesn't tell you to escape the world. It simply tells you to return to the moment you're living. Periodical exercise. Group here. This exercise is very simple, but if you do it sincerely, it changes many things. Each day, choose one familiar activity. Eating a meal, walking, drinking water, talking with someone, and so 3 things. 1. Slow down by out and PS 2. Don't do anything else at the same time. 3. Clearly notice what you're doing. No need to make it long. Just make it real. The present isn't something you find, it's something you return to. And when you're able to stay with the present, many anxieties naturally settle. But even if you live rightly and live fully in the present, life will still place obstacles in front of you. And it's when Marcus Aurelius points to something else equally important. Here is a truth we often cheat to avoid. No matter how rightly you live, life will still challenge you. Not because you're weak, not because you're on the wrong path, but because difficulty is part of life itself. Marcus Aurelius understood this clearly. He wrote these lines while living amid war, illness, and betrayal. The impediment to action advances action. What stands in the way becomes the way. This is the line that wakes many people up. Marcus Aurelius doesn't ask, how do I avoid difficulty? He asks, how do I use the difficulty itself as a step forward? What blocks you trains your patience. What slows you down teaches you discipline. What hurts you forces you to grow. Choose not to be harmed, and you won't feel harmed. Don't feel harmed, and you haven't been. This line doesn't deny pain. It emphasizes inner choice. Marcus Aurelius isn't saying you won't be hurt. He's saying you can choose not to let the injury define you. When you stop seeing yourself as a victim, you reclaim your strength. The best revenge is to be unlike him who performed the injury. Stoicism doesn't encourage revenge, because revenge means letting others control your behavior. Marcus Aurelius understood this clearly. The worst revenge is becoming what you despise. The highest revenge is living with more decency, more steadiness, and not being dragged down. Stoicism doesn't teach you to endure in silence. It teaches you to transform, to turn anger into self-control, to turn adversity into training, and to turn suffering into death. Periodical exercise. Group IV turn obstacles into training. When difficulty arises, whenever you face something hard, don't ask, why me? Ask these 3 questions instead. What quality is this situation training in me? 2. If this is a test, what attitude do I need to pass it? 3. How can I act so that later I won't feel ashamed of myself? Not to avoid pain, but to avoid wasting it. Not every obstacle blocks your path. Many obstacles are the path being opened. But to stop resenting life, you need to understand one more difficult truth. Not everything is in your control. When people hear the word acceptance, many immediately think of giving up. But Marcus Aurelius did not. He didn't take people to let go of effort. He taught them not to waste energy on battles they cannot win. And this is one of the most major points of Stoic philosophy. Accept the things to which fate binds you, and love the people with whom fate brings you tether. Marcus Aurelius isn't saying, like everything that happens. He's saying, stop fighting what cannot be changed. Much suffering doesn't come from circumstance themselves, but from arguing with reality inside our own minds. Acceptance doesn't make you weaker. It stops the constant bleeding of your energy. The universe is change. Our life is what our thoughts make it. Marcus Aurelius saw life as a flow. Nothing stands still. Nothing belongs to us forever. You suffer because you think things should stay stable. You struggle because you try to hold on to what is already changing. But when you understand that change is the nature of the universe, you stop panicking at every shift. He who lives in harmony with himself lives in harmony with the universe. This is a very deep line, and also very practical. Many conflicts with life actually begin as conflicts within ourselves. When you hate yourself, try to become someone else than who you truly are, the world begins to feel hostile too. Harmony with yourself is the first step toward harmony with fate. Stoicism doesn't tell you to sit still and endure. It tells you to choose the right battles. Don't spend energy on resentment. Use it to lie properly within the circumstance you have. That's not surrender. That's wisdom. Pyraxical exercise. Scruffy equal if control F control when anxiety appears. This exercise helps you clearly distinguish where effort is needed and where letting go is wiser. Step 1. Draw 2 circles. Circle 1. Things I can control: thoughts, actions, attitude, effort. Circle 2. Things I cannot control: the past, other people, final outcome. Step 2. Whenever you feel anxious, ask, which goal does this belong to? If it's outside your control, don't invest more emotion in it. Not because you don't care, but because you respect your life energy. You don't have to love everything that happens. You only need to stop fighting what is unavoidable. And when you zoe, your mind becomes much lighter. But there is one truth Marcus Aurelius constantly reminded himself of: if we want to live rightly, we must remember that time is limited. Damn. We rarely talk about death, not because it's far away, but because it's too close. We avoid it by staying busy, by making long-term plans, by telling ourselves there's still plenty of time. Marcus Aurelius did the opposite. He looks directly at death so he wouldn't live superficially. You could live life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think. This isn't meant to scare you. It's meant to wake you up. Marcus Aurelius doesn't say, you will die someday. He says, it could be right now. And when you truly understand that, you begin to say fewer meaningless things, so fewer things that go against your conscience, delay fewer important actions. It is not death that a man should fear, but he should fear never beginning to live. Marcus Aurelius wasn't afraid of dying. He was afraid of never truly living. Many people live safely, live by expectations, live to please others. And 10, they call it stability. Stoicism calls it a waste of life. If you knew for certain you had very little time left, you wouldn't live the way you do now. You would stay silent less often in the face of what's wrong, and relationships that make you smaller. Stop postponing becoming someone you respect. Marcus Aurelius doesn't want you obsessed with death. He wants you awake while you're alive. Remembering death doesn't make you pessimistic, it makes you stop pretending. Stop pretending to be strong. Stop pretending everything is fine. Stop pretending you have endless time. And when you stop pretending, pyraxical exercise, graphi mental mori, rebirth had you will see this instead a dark exercise. It's an exercise in living properly. Each day ask yourself one question: if today were the last day, would I say this? A. Would I do this? Would I stay silent about this? If the answer is no, adjust today. Don't wait. Death doesn't take meaning away from life, it gives life meaning. Because time is limited, every choice matters. But to live right in a chaotic world, you need one more kind of support. Not outside, but deep within. We live in a very noisy age, yet very few people truly spend time with themselves. When we're free, we open our phones. When we're sad, we look for something to fill the gap. When we're tired, we keep running. Marcus Aurelius chose a different path. He turned inward. Look well into thyself. There is a source of strength which will always spring up if thou will always look. This line promises nothing flashy. It stays a solid truth. Theory is a source of strength inside you, but only if you're willing to look. Marcus Aurelius didn't look for strength in status, not in recognition. He looked for it in the ability to stand firm with no support. Many people feel weak, not because they are incapable, but because they've never built a relationship with themselves. When you fear silence, fear being alone, fear facing your own thoughts, any external chain can easily shake you. Marcus Aurelius understood this clearly. That's why he trained inner strength before relying on outer support. A person with a solid inner life doesn't need the world to be gentle. They don't need everyone to understand them, everyone to care, everyone to approve, because they have a place to return to within. And that alone makes them hard to break. Stoic philosophy doesn't make you lonely. It makes you whole when you're alone. And when you're whole, you step into the world no longer as a beggar. Pyroxical exercise, growthy intensely, wisdom tis agi. This exercise is very simple, but for many people, it's very hard. Each day, spend 1 minutes, no phone, no music, no conversation, just sit and observe. Thoughts come and go, emotions rise and settle, don't fix. Don't avoid. Don't judge. You don't need to control the mind, you just need to be there with it. When you're no longer afraid of being alone, you become much harder to manipulate. And it is a very deep kind of freedom. But no matter how strong your inner life is, we still have to live among other people. And this is the final challenge Marcus Aurelius points to. You can live simply. You can accept fate. You can build strong inner stability. But let one difficult person appear, and everything can collapse very quickly. Marcus Aurelius understood this better than anyone. Because he didn't live among kind people, he lived among power, schemes, and betrayal. Begin the morning by saying to thyself, I shall meet busybody, ingrate, arrogant, deceitful, envious, and so. This isn't pessimism. It's mature mental preparation. Marcus Aurelius didn't start the day with the illusion that everyone will be nice today. He started with reality. People can be selfish, ungrateful, jealous, and difficult. And because of that, when it happened, he wasn't shocked. Much resentment in life doesn't come from others' actions, but from our unrealistic expectations. We expect others to understand, others to be considerate, others to behave like us. And when they don't, we get angry. Marcus Aurelius chose a different approach. Lower expectations, not to become cold but to remain calm. Stoicism doesn't take you to tolerate everything. It teaches you not to let others' ugliness pull you down. You can still set boundaries, walk away, say no. But you don't need resentment, bitterness, emotional poison cried inside. Marcus Aurelius understood this clearly. Resentment damages the one who holds it, not the one it's directed at. You can't control how others live, but you can always control whether they disturb your inner calm. And that is a great power if you're willing to claim it. Pyroxical exercise, growthy morning preptias sequence. This exercise should be done each morning. It takes only 3 seconds but saves a great deal of energy. Each morning, tell yourself, today I may meet difficult people, I may be misunderstood, I may go unrecognized, and remind yourself, I will not let that turn me bitter. I choose calm not because they deserve it, but because I do. Lack of resentment doesn't make you weak. It makes you freer. Free from other people's control. And when you connect all of this, the mind, virtue, the present, adversity, fate, death, the inner life, inner people, Marcus Aurelius wasn't teaching you how to defeat others. He was teaching you how not to lose yourself. If you look back at everything we've just covered, you see that Marcus Aurelius never said anything unrealistic. He didn't promise happiness. He didn't promise success. He didn't promise an easy life. He gave us only one thing, a way not to break when life hits. Master the mind so you're not swept away. Live rightly so you don't despise yourself. Stay present so you don't lose your way. Use adversity to grow. Accept fate to choose the right battles. Remember death to life honestly. Build the inner life so you're not dependent. Remain calm on people to be free. None of this is about becoming better than others. It's about not losing to yourself. Maybe you're tired. Maybe you're confused. Maybe you're trying very hard yet still feel stuck. Stoic philosophies then push you to move faster. It simply helps you stand more firmly where you are. You don't need to change your whole life in one day. You only need to think a little more clearly tomorrow. To live a little more wryly tomorrow. To be a little calmer tomorrow. T small things repeated long enough create a very different person. Marcus Aurelius wrote all of this, not to become great. He wrote to remind himself every day and make power and choice to live decently. And if these ideas still matter today, pen maybe they're enough for you to carry something with you after this video ends. If you want to continue this journey, where each video is a practice in living, stay. Not to listen to me, but to listen to yourself more clearly. 2.